Hello there. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully great. If you're in the chat, let's say hi. See how we're doing. I really need to get a haircut. So today we are going to continue on the contact application. If you're new to this or new to the videos, kind of walk through what we've done. Everything we've been doing is hosted in this GitHub repository, which I will put in the chat. Essentially, we started out with nothing. I introduced the IDEs, those integrated development environments. We walked through 3, and I pretty much used JetBrains Writer for this. Then kind of walked through building out a domain, objects, then set up a set of services, aka business layer, manager layer. Every place calls it differently. Then worked on data layer. Here's a couple links to what we did. Right now we're backing it with a SQLite database. When we push it to the cloud or somewhere else, we might update that database, but for now it's sitting at SQLite. We then went and added unit test. We then swapped out some of the backend database layer, or more so swapped out the models to make it so that we can change up the database in the future. It's a little bit easier for us to do. And then spent a couple of weeks, I think it was like 2 weeks, putting together the web API for it. Then went and documented the API, improved it a little bit, added authentication, and for the last week or so, we've been working on the client for it. We added authentication to the client, showed how we did file new and came up with the Bootstrap enabled app. Did some cleanup work, create a contact service that we can work on. And yesterday we worked on the contact listing and details pages. Once we're done with this, we might step into Blazor and or some other client technologies, or maybe just push to the cloud and then work on that. I haven't decided that. This weekend I'll kind of mess around with it. So let's get started. If you're new, you can follow along on here with any of the videos. You can go back and click on a link to see the video of that stream and or the source for that particular repository. Let's take a look at our app. So here's our app. We spent most of the time in the web UI, which we will continue today. Let me launch the API. It's going to run in the background. And then I will start the user interface. And just know that that did start on a secondary machine and for a secondary screen. We have our contacts app here. We have the home, contacts and privacy button. See, we have the authentication working. If I go and click on contacts, this is what we built out yesterday. I quote unquote fixed the issue with having to constantly log in on development. Right now, I just delete all the cookies on the first request, which seems to fix the problem. It's not the right solution, but it fixes it. We now list out all the contacts here. If I click on a particular contact, we go and see the details of the contact. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time cleaning this up. This is just to get the basics there. Now that we have this here, what if we want to change this? Let's say no one calls me Joseph and everyone calls me Joe, and I want to change this name. How do I go about doing it? So let's work on the editing feature. So, this face is really red. Let me see if I can lower this a little bit. One day I'll figure out the lighting in here. I change the light in the room. It also seems to depend on what color shirt I wear. Right now I'm wearing a pinkish shirt and my face came out to be pink. The color looks better now. Okay, so let's go and change this. We'll stop the API and let's go and add our 2 new endpoints. So as you can imagine, we are going to want a edit and a delete. So I am just going to create 2 new ones. We'll call this one edit and this one delete. Let's just comment this out for now. And then here we are going to want to get a contact and then we need to return that view. So let's go and add the view for our edit. So I'm going to actually copy and paste this one only because it has a lot of the fields and I'll make it easier for us. Did I choose copy? Paste it and let's call it edit. Yes, I want to edit and then call it edit. Now we have the ability to get to it, but it's not doing anything yet. Actually, I'm just going to delete this one for now. We'll come and add the delete when we're ready for it. How do I get to the edit? So there's 2 different things we can do. We can add a link at the bottom of the details to allow a person to edit it. So I can do something like ASP action, and we want the edit action and ASP. I don't know why ARIA keeps coming up first. ASP dash controller, was it? ASP dash controller contact. And then we are going to do a not that we need the route data. I remember correctly. What was that syntax? I forgot already. So let's go and look at my index and ASP route ID. And then why don't I just copy this because this is exactly what I need. The rest of it. So let's go back to our details and just paste in the rest of that. And here we don't need that, but the add model. So this will give us a link to edit it. But let's spruce it up a little bit with some Bootstrap. So we're going to turn this into a button. So let's go and do class equals, I think it's BTN, if I remember correctly. We can check that quickly. Get Bootstrap. And then go to documentation, components, button. So we want a primary button, so we are going to give it this syntax. So button and then button dash primary. And then we don't want the contact ID to display. Let's just display the word edit. But Bootstrap actually has the ability to add images to it, which is kind of cool. So we went through that. We're not changing that, not changing active state, not changing that, not changing plugins. Where's our icons? Then move it content, layout, content, typography. Nope, where did it go? In utilities. Is icons. Oh, they don't include icons anymore. They used to. Let's go and do this just because we are going to want to make it nicer. Where's my font awesome? Wow, so many options now. 016. That. On the way. Don't want that. The Font Awesome is a collection of homegrown icons that allow you to kind of add buttons and lots of cool stuff. So making it a lot harder to actually get to use it. Icons fast, CDN power kits, yes. How do I want to install this? I don't want to install it with any of these. Could use Yarn, but that's going to get a lot more into the weeds. Where's an easy way just to include it? Why can I find that? Here it goes. This is what I'm looking for. I guess I can use a package manager. Which one comes with Visual Studio now? Or .NET? There is a way to do it easily with .NET. Add MVC font awesome. It used to be just a link, but then there's something called a package manager that we can use. Oh, there's a NuGet package for it. An older version though. Let's see what this blog post has to say. It's from 2004. Not gonna bother, so let's go here and do it the newer way that I know about. So we can go to dependencies, I think. Nope. www root fave icon, no. JS. Let's do right click and choose add the client side library. Nope, don't see it. So let's go to, when all else fails, go to CDN JavaScript and then go with CDN JS. Font awesome. This has everything we need to do. So let's copy this bad boy. And then we are going to need to add that to our header, which is views, shared, and then layout. What did I copy over? I copied over the JS, so that needs to go to the bottom. Script source. When you do it this way, that means that it's only going to go there, meaning we're not going to have a local copy of it. And maybe we'll go through another video where we will kind of talk through how to go about doing that. Why are you complaining? Saying there is no locally stored. Yeah, I know. Let's see the right way of doing this. ASP.NET MVC add web pack, I think it is called. No, it's not. We'll come back to that. Bootstrap's not that, or Font Awesome is not that important right now. Let's get the functionality work, and if there's time, we'll look at cleaning it up a little bit more. So now we added the detail, added the word edit to it. Now I should be able to click on edit and go directly there. Let's copy that same text and put that in our index. So we are going to add another column heading here. Scope equals column. And then we're just going to leave this one blank. And then here we are going to put edit. And then we'll leave the next one for that. So this should be contact. There we go. Now if we save and we run just that portion, come back here. The contacts, I should have a bunch of edit links here that I can click on. If we look in the lower left-hand corner, they see and click edit. It should be taken to this page, which as we see here, says edit, even though it's a copy of the details, but the title bar here says edit. So at least we know we're in the right page. And if I go to details, I have an edit button at the bottom. Another reason how we can tell a difference. Click edit, we're here. So now how do we go about editing that data? Well, it should be relatively simple to do. We just have to create some forms for it. So let's go and look at the forms in Bootstrap, which we alluded to a little bit yesterday. So there's two styles of forms that they have. They have the horizontal, which is label on top, so in this case email address, and then text box below, and then help text. So here for the email says what the field is for, what data you want for it, and then any help text for it. And then they have different controls for multi-select and everything else. So let's go, actually let's just continue to take a look to see if there's anything else we might want to change. So we don't want to make things necessarily read-only. Checkboxes, we don't have any checkboxes yet. We don't need any inline. Form grid. I don't know if maybe we'll do that for the name field. And then everything else we can do as kind of more like this. So do the first name, last name like this, and then address, that kind of stuff. And then, or horizontal is the other approach. I kind of like this more complex layout. So we'll copy that text and just kind of work with that one. So let's make sure I'm in the edit, which I am. And we are going to update this. So I just pasted in a bunch of text. Everything else stayed the same below. Let's minimize this so we have some more real estate. One of the problems when you're doing form editing. So email address we have. I probably shouldn't have done this because it's going to make it a little bit harder because we have to assign, we have to bind the values to the controls, and that's a little bit more challenging than copying and pasting from here. So let's make sure we're doing it right from the start. We definitely need a form, so we are going to go and create a form, and then let's just do a field edit kind of deal. So let's just double check how we go about doing that. ASP.NET MVC edit. Oh, what happened? Type too quick, or I hit the escape key. Create an edit view. So we're going to need to change our edit to a post to make sure we can handle the mark. So let's just double check this. We have the edit. Don't worry about all that other detail. And we got the edit. And the post. Oh, we need the post back for it. Okay. So this is the initial edit. Where are you? Controllers. Contact. We have the edit. This is the display part. And then we need typed out all kinds of stuff. Public. Come on, Joe, type. Public async. I think this returns an action result. This is edit. Here we want the domain.models.contact. And then we have to tell it that this is a post. And then return view. So now we need to save it. So let's go to our result equals await dot await contact service dot save contact async contact. And that should be everything. Why are you complaining? Probably doesn't want an action result because I am returning the view. Oh, because I should be redirecting to that. Right? Return, so this is return redirect to action, and then we are going to want the details, and then we want the details of the contact. So I think this is just ID. I don't know if we want to go back to the main page or go back to the index. Let me just do this, ASP.NET, redirect to action, and then ID. Pass the parameter. See if there's something relatively new. This looked like an old post. New ID equals, okay, let's try that. New ID equals contact ID. What are you complaining about? Oh, wasn't asynchronous. So now once we get the edit, we can change it, then it's going to save. But now we have to kind of wire up the fields. So this is going to return us the contact, but how do we know where to put those contact fields? So let's take a look at our previous example, which we had here. And this is the part here. So all these model 4 kind of give us all the data we need for that. So let's go and double check that that works. Edit.csg.html. These models here, this won't change for now, but we are just going to do a HTML dot label for model, and this wants a model helper. So I think we don't have labels established. I think I could just do label for model. Man, I'm so rusty at this. Model, yeah, that's what I thought. And then HTML dot text for at model dot first name. Let's see if I got all this right. What are you complaining about? Doesn't like the way you're worded. Editor for apparently is what I need. we need here. That doesn't look like what I just typed. Must be a newer version. So let's go ASP core. It's been so long since I've done this manually. I'm trying to show everyone the kind of growing pains. Docs.microsoft. Ah, come on. Typing skills are terrible today. Microsoft. ASP.NET. Or then there should be web app here. MVC. Let's see if they have that here. Search. Update the pages. Aha. No, it is just model display for. I wasn't that far off. Don't need to do all that. Just looking at the text itself. Display for. How do we edit though? Where's my edit page? Add new field, add search, add updates. See if you displayed in here, tutorial. Same thing. Control actions and views, part 6. I don't see anything different. I click edit. Yes, it brings me there. It's probably using the out of the box ones, which I don't have here, so can't show it. Here it goes. Div group, label, ASP label 4. Oh. This looks like this would work, so I'm gonna just copy and paste this bad boy here. And then we'll start with there. I think you did all this part here. Let's navigate you in a little bit more. So this should be, it knows the model. So here it should be contact ID, a title for first name, and let's just do the same for last name, make sure that works, and then we'll go through and add the rest and kind of clean it up. This is one of the harder things, is building the edit form, especially because there's so many different ways to do it, and you don't do them all the time. Like I haven't built a basic CRUD, create, read, update, delete app in a long time. So most of this is just going off of memory and things change. So taking a look and trying to figure it out as I go. Popped up on the other page, so let's just refresh this page since we're editing contact 1. There you go. So I do have the name here that I can type in whatever I want, but I don't have a save or anything. So that is working. You'll notice these names here, first name and last name. They are taking the field names as the literal because I don't have any display attributes to tell it to do something otherwise, which is why when we do something like this, it's just reading that directly. You could do something on the model and give it a fancier name like display space name, or I can just do not have ASP.NET or MVC fill it in for me automatically and do first name and last name. Next thing we want to do is add a save button. So we will add the save button to it and then make sure that it goes back and saves. So let's stop it again. And then let's add a button here. Input type equals submit. Class equals button, button dash primary. Gets value equals save. So let me put a breakpoint in our controller to see if we get back to this point and what it looks like. So let's debug, come back over here, wait a second for it to load, open up a new can of seltzer. Click on contacts. Let's edit this one. Don't want to mess up record number 1. And let's change this to Joe and last name Ladagno. Let's just do G for now. And we'll come back and clean it. Hit save. Got back here. Key test is to see if the mapping was done. So behind the scenes, ASP.NET, or more so IAS or the Kestrel server, takes a look at all the parameters and tries to do a one-to-one mapping of them. So it looks like it got the ID, or that ID is going to be correct, but let's take a look at the contact. So if I come in here, no addresses, which is fine. There's no anniversary. There was no birthday date. The contact name ID is right. There was no email address for that person. And Joe and G were there. So it's good. It took those 2 fields that we have and sent it back. So I am not going to save this because we don't want to dirty up that record. So I'm going to skip over that line of code. Oops. And return us back to where we were. That should just bring us right back to this edit page. Or sorry, the details. We had to redirect to the details. Let's go back and edit him. So we see nothing changed. Cool. So let's go about editing the other fields. So we got to add middle name now. Let's do that here. Okay, so we got first name, last name, middle. We don't need this anymore. Now we want dates. I'm just going to do birthday here. Anniversary here. do birthday. And right now we're just doing 1-to-1 when it comes to fields. Everything's pretty much just a text box. We can go back and change this to do a drop down for dates and pick a date. We'll might do some validation. We'll see how it goes. I think today we'll just get the serving that it's saving correctly. Then we can come back and add to it. And let's do one more for the image URL. And URL for a picture of the contact. And go back, image URL, and I think that is. So we don't need any more of these. They were there just for reference for us. Let's debug it. Apparently I already had it running, so we'll stop and debug. View our contacts. Let's edit this one, number 2. Looks like most of the fields are here, so we're gonna call Joe. My middle name JoeG, and the last name will keep the same, but I'm just going to add a number 1 to it to show that we changed it. It has my date of birth and anniversary from what we added. It's not really my date of birth. I was really born May 31st. Oh, wow. ASP.NET MVC was smart enough to give us a date time picker. That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that. I thought we'd have to do all kinds of stuff for it, but magically it did it. And my real anniversary is 08. Oops, not 08. It's my son's birthday. 10/26, and let's just say 2000. And then I need an image URL for me. Let's do random person image. There's actually a site that does that. So you can put in a name and it will automatically give you one. Since this is a gentleman, I'm going to go with this person. There's an actual API that you can use for it. I don't want to do that. I think I can do something like this and just put a number, people being 1. Oh, that's actually going to give us a whole person. I don't want that. There's another one. Let's do a random. Interesting. Cool. Let's just go and just pick my face. And add add that to it. Where we go, page. Now if I click save, I can check all the contacts here, make sure everything was updated. Anniversary is correct, birthday is correct, first name is right, middle name, everything looks right. I'm going to continue this. Ooh, what did I get? Invalid status code in the response message. Contact service 67. Ooh, what happened? Looks like the save actually failed. No, let's see what happened. JoeG. Oh, that's a new feature. I'm in the Writer EAP Early Access Preview, and that's a new one where you can just click on it right there so I don't have to go through there. All the fields are right, so let's go to the next level. So we're going to step into, which is that one, F11. That should take us into our service, and I really just want to see what it's serialized into. So let's breakpoint here and run to cursor. Let's skip to cursor. I can just hit that button. So this is the JSON content. It's a whole long list. I just wanted to see the text. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Contact ID, first name is right, middle name is right, last name is right, email. Oh, there's no email address. That's why it's failing. We have validation and it doesn't know that the email address is null. I have no way to turn it back, so that's why it's failing. We've got an email address. So let's go and continue. We're going to get our runtime exception. Make a mental note. We'll play with validation tomorrow. So let's go and add one more field to there. And email. I wonder if there's something here you can do. Tell it to type. Funny how the ASP shows up once and only once. Oh, it's because it's validation for. ASP controller area format. Let's see what that is. ASP.NET Core tag helper email. Just seeing if they have one. They have a bunch of ones. A password for. I have an email one. Anchor, cache, control, form tag helper, input tag helper is what we want. Let's see what your options are. Table shows common data attributes. Do type equals email. See if we had the email address annotated, it could find that. So let's see if, without changing the model for it, let's see if we can do ASP-type. I probably have to code it out. ASP dash, come on. Let's just do this. Type equals email, and we'll figure out the rest. So now if I debug this, stop and rerun, go back here, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, and don't need that. Click on contacts. Let's edit you. JoeG. Email address is right. 53. Just changing these to see that they actually changed. It says waiting for localhost below. I think I have a breakpoint set. Like it should have been done already. Nope, it failed with an invalid status code. What happened? No. Well, let's see what we broke. Hit save. Let's step into run to cursor. Now let's see what the JSON request is. String is nasty. Contact 21, Joseph, J, Guadagno, email address. Birthday is right, anniversary is right, can't see the rest of it. And that looks good. Oh, I bet you this is not created. I bet you I just got the wrong status code coming back from my service. So let's do step over. Oh no, I did get an internal server error. What is the internal server error? What did you say? Reason phrase, internal server error. Got the post. Token looks right. Nothing in the messages, which is what you want because you don't really want to leak out if something happened on your server. What happened? Able to get the authorization. Content, let's see what's in the message. Why did you fail? Pose, reason phrase, status code. Huh. I guess we'll have to stop them all and debug them both and see what happens when it gets to the service. So let's do a stop all. And we're gonna have to put a breakpoint in here now. And save contact. Okay, so let's go to API, debug you, and then web API, debug you. Let's see what you are up to. Oh, don't need that breakpoint anymore. Let's choose all that. Choose that. Save. Run you. We get a breakpoint here. So let's take a look at our contact object we have now. So anniversary, birthday are right, contact numbers right, first name's right, full name's right, everything is right. So let's step over and see what happens. Why did you fail to insert the error while updating the entry? See inner exception for details. Unique constraint. Oh, it tried to add that item instead of updating it. So there's something wrong with the management portion or the manager section of this, which is not you, but you. You're broken here in the save. Where are you? This part here is assuming an add, not assuming that this part says to add, but not to look it up. Although it should automatically add it if it has an ID. I guess I have to look it up. So that's probably just an implementation way of doing it. I thought it automatically accounted for that, but because I'm doing add, it's assuming that I want to create a new record. So we are going to have to clean this up. Well, we're just about out of time anyway, so it looks like I got a little cleaning up of our repository work to do. Essentially, we'll have to do a search for this. If it exists, then add it, unless there's a quick method here to do it. So let's see. Context. Here's an update. So we can do this. So let's stop all. If context contact ID is greater than 0, I want you to do underscore contact.context update DB contact, else underscore contact.context.add DB contact. Just saying, if I have an ID, assume it's there, update it. If not, delete it. I thought there was an upsert for this. Let me just double check to make sure there isn't. No, there's an update. Insert or nope. The real way, or the true way of going and doing this, is us doing a search for that contact ID. If it is, update it. If not, delete it. But for sake of brevity, we're just going to go and do this. This becomes await update async. Wait. Add. Was there no update async? Interesting. So there's no wait for that. So we'll just have to call that. Now it should work. So let's go and run this. And let's go and run this. Did that yesterday too, once or twice. And oh, ran the UI first. So run that. Too many things to run. Need one button that just says run it all. Maybe I'll work on the build script to execute all that all at one time. So 17 times the charm, but that's the joys of debugging and or live coding. Hit save. Still getting an error message. Okay, well, we're at the hour mark. This is broken, but it's actually not the saving that's broken, or well, technically it's the saving. It's somewhere in this save contact and save contact async logic. I'll have to figure that part out and fix it. With that being said, that's all I have today. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, feedback, feel free to reach out to me on any one of these social means or my email address, and I'll be happy to get back to you. It's a pleasure. Thanks again. Have a great day. See you on Thursday.